Hello, my name is Flippin' Marks, and welcome to the Kayfabe News Raw review. And straight away, it's a huge congratulations to the man, also known as the Ma'am, Becky Lynch, who announced this week that she is pregnant with a small child. At least we hope it's a child. She hasn't given birth yet. Who knows what will come out? And the big question that we've got here at Kayfabe News is, how did this all go about? Because no one explained that to us on the show a little over 24 hours ago, so I thought I would do that for you here. So essentially what happens is, when two wrestlers love each other very much, they decide to have a different kind of a match. And when they start to get good heat, one of them pops, and then the other one goes over the other one, and hey-ho, Bob's your uncle, some magic has happened, and in 9 months' time, you're gonna have a little jobber all of your own. It's called the Freebirds and the Killer Bees, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you ask your parents, but do it in the normal way. Don't just go up to them and say, some creepy old man off the internet told me to come ask you about sex. You make me look like just that. So just approach it cautiously and you can learn. The other thing we need to know is, what on earth will Becky Lynch be calling this bundle of joy? And I have come up with some names. Rebecca Quinn, Becky Rollins, Seth Lynch, Hulk Hogan, Doink, Barry Horowitz, the artist formerly known as Emelina, Babatunde. What's that? My producer my producer just told me they should call it Michael Higginbottom. Nobody's called Michael Hit. What a stupid suggestion. La Luchadora. And finally, Little Miss Knox. Again, congratulations to you, Becky Lynch, from everybody here at Kayfabe News. When it does come to the father of the piece, that being one Seth Rollins, well, I do unfortunately have to bring you some very concerning and upsetting news. After transforming into a homeless person for some reason after his defeat at Drew McIntyre at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Seth stared into the distance for most of the show until he snapped while taking on Rey Mysterio. And he took Rey Mysterio's head, removed his mask, which is a great sin down in the great city of Mexico, and he rammed his eye into the side of the steel stairs that were obviously at ringside. Now, we here at Kayfabe News have done our due diligence, and we have tried to get a medical update on Rey Mysterio, and now we shall cut to Hurricane Rana, who is outside a local medical facility with an update on the Luchador. Thank you, Flippin'. Yes, Hurricane Rana here. What I tried to do is, after this episode of Raw, I tried to go to the nearest local medical facility, but I was told not a thing exists. They kept saying, do you mean a hospital? Do you mean a hospital? I said no. I was definitely told by Tom Phillips and the commentary team that he was taken to a local nearby medical facility. But luckily, using my journalistic skills, I was able to get here to what now people are dubbing a hospital. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to get any news about Rey Mysterio other than the fact that he may have lost his sight. We could tell that by watching Monday Night Raw after Seth Rollins pushed his face into the corner of the steel steps. They're worried about his retinas, they're worried about his eyeballs, his pupils, the whites of his eyes. They're not sure what they're going to do. I heard the word surgery a few times. I heard a few people say maybe Rey Mysterio needs surgery, and I'm keeping an eye out for his family, but as of yet, nothing. I also tried to get a look at Rey Mysterio's face, because of course that would be quite the scoop, but I wasn't able to do that. He had a towel over his head. I'm not sure whether there's something in that or not. But the update that I have for you is that we were lied to on Raw. He did not go to a local medical facility. He came to a hospital, and they are just doing the checks now. Hurricane Rana for Kayfabe News. Thank you, Hurricane Rana. As you can see, it could be grave times for Rey Mysterio. He may never see again. And that obviously means his wrestling career will be over. His son Dominic will have a blind father. I haven't seen Dominic for some time. He appeared at the Royal Rumble and has vanished. So as always, we are looking for him as well. But yes, anybody in the Mysterio family, it goes to show how crazy life can be. On the one hand, new life with Becky Lynch's sprog on the way, and then absolute negativity when it comes to Rey Mysterio, who's had a very bad 24 hours, because in our other investigations, we are looking into the fact that Baron Corbin attempted murder during the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, where he threw Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black from one roof as it turns out, onto another roof. So what I would like to ask you, Kayfabe News watchers, is why hasn't Baron Corbin been charged with attempted murder? Instead, WWE has rewarded him for his actions with an apparent title shot against the champion, Drew McIntyre, in a week's time. It beggars belief, if I'm completely honest, and how am I meant to keep watching? As a fan, I call myself a fan, a wrestling fan, how am I meant to keep watching when I know that somebody is running free? I mean, I phoned my local police force earlier, and they told me to get a clue and catch up with 2020, which I also found very offensive. But again, if local authorities aren't going to help, I shall take it on my own to try and track this all down. But Baron Corbin, as far as I'm concerned, you are wanted for murder, as you doubly admitted here during an interview with Charlie Caruso. You were devastated that there had been a second roof, a secret second roof, which made absolutely no sense, by the way. But just please be careful when you're out there, especially when we are back allowed to go to wrestling events. Do not approach the man that calls himself the king without caution, because he absolutely tried to murder two people on Sunday night around about 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you are a police officer and you're watching this, I can give you his whereabouts. I know where he is. I track him via Twitter. He's usually cooking some kind of barbecue. Do your job. There's also the small matter of the brand extension being cancelled for reasons that I cannot tell you. Drew McIntyre had come out, and after successfully beating Andrade in a match, he got on the microphone and he told us straight up that there is now a brand versus brand invitational system in place. And I don't understand why Drew McIntyre is now the general manager of WWE. I mean, how is he able to make these kind of decisions? I understand that he's now reached the top of the mountain and he is considered the leader of World Wrestling Entertainment from a wrestling point of view, but he doesn't have any management powers. He's not in charge. He's not Vince McMahon, who obviously has had that job in the past. He's not Jack Tunney, rest in peace. He's not Gorilla Monsoon. All these people they were able to do this. Whereas Drew McIntyre, someone, again, in the comments below, why is Drew McIntyre allowed to decide that the segueing of SmackDown and Raw is now allowed to come back together? And also, why isn't he concerned that Baron Corbin is out to do far worse than just beat him in a wrestling match? And after going through my own brain, which is a very powerful tool, I have come up with these scenarios that could very well happen to the Scottish psychopath. He could die. He could lose his title to Baron Corbin. But given that Baron Corbin is a king, there's every chance that Drew McIntyre gets on the wrong side of him and gets beheaded. Drew McIntyre and Baron actually get on well, and Drew McIntyre becomes Prince Drew. Some kind of Game of Thrones shib where everybody dies. Or we just have a basic wrestling match. I don't know. I am just putting it out there, and I hope that I've warned you well enough, and I hope that now you understand. I mean, we've taken a very dark turn on WWE television. AJ Styles has come back from the grave, and he's not a zombie. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black somehow were thrown off a roof, but they're absolutely fine. Baron Corbin is attempted murdering. It's very hard to keep up with. It really, really is. And also, we may be able to see the divorce between Bobby Lashley and Lana. MVP wants to be his manager. Lana wasn't impressed. I don't understand. Anyway, let's move on from that. And let's get to our new weekly rating segment for everything we saw on Monday Night Raw. And we'll start with the Becky Lynch announcement, which gets 4.6 stars out of a possible 6.2. And as for Seth, I've lost my mind Rollins and his absolutely tragic attack on Rey Mysterio, well, he gets the dreaded 4 out of a possible score of 173. The random announcement that we are bringing the brands together gets my 2.7 thumbs up, and the thankful survivement of Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black gets my exceptionally satisfactory rating. Which brings us to the end of another Kayfabe News Raw review, and I just would like to send my congratulations and well wishes to Becky Lynch, not to Seth Rollins. I can't possibly support that man. I'm in Rey Mysterio's corner here, and I will have a few sleepless nights as, it was a lot of blood. I don't do well with blood. It makes me feel a little bit queasy, and it was running like the flows of Babylon. But thankfully he did. It's a bad week for Rey Mysterio. He almost died, then he survived there. He could be dead again. But he has a good friend in Aleister Black, and that's the what I will leave you with today. And that is, always have a good friend. They'll be there for you when you're on the mend. Anytime you think you're coming to the end, make sure you've got a good friend.